Welcome back!
Cooking companion. Resuming back from where we left off. Where we left off was Mariah was complaining like a little fucking bitch that we weren't managing our inventory very well when everybody else was fucking indulging on my meals after they said to cook for them. Let's get back into it. You nod. Thank you. You've done a great job with meals so far. Then why the fuck did you just complain that how we're shitty fucking inventory managed maintenance skills, you bitch?
So mean.
Very sweet. Fuck you. Mariah's blushing. Teehee. I don't want you to remember that. Fuck you.
With what supplies, Mariah?
Maybe you could teach me to cook sometime. I'm disappointed in your inventory management skills. I love your cooking.
Shut the fuck up.
Are you okay?
You nod. Looking forward to it. I'm sure you will. You're sure you are. Hey, you can hold some cooking classes here someday. Rudely interrupting a tender moment, the others burst into the cabin. Don't worry, everybody. You didn't miss much.
Why are they smiling? Oh, tons of good berries.
It's just jam is so bland without any sugar. Do you have any sugar? You shake your head sadly. Yikes. Turn that frown upside down. I'm gonna turn that frown upside down. Who knows what tomorrow will bring? I'm not smiling for you, Gregor. Eek. Missed out. Sunset was really tremendous on our way back.
It's still yellow outside.
Hues of orange, red, and even a little purple poking out. Red sky at night, sailors delight. Red sky morning, sailors take warning. So, what does that have to do with fucking sailors?
I don't know.
Yeah, Mariah, because you're a dumb bitch.
Why are you so mean?
That's awesome. You're such an optimist, big guy.
Why do they blush at each other like that?
Yeah, what's going on between these two? We must have walked out a few miles today. Gorgeous sights. You can even see snow on the tip of the mountains. That rumble sounded like a dying calf. You look from person to person trying to determine who it is. It was definitely Mariah. Mariah, I'd recognize that sound from anywhere. Yeah, guilty. Mariah looked embarrassed, but the group laughs at her honesty. Except for you. You search your mind for something to say, but all you can think of is an old riddle. Ahem. Those who have it do not want it. Those who have it least succeed. Those who have it for too long perish. When you feed it, it gets smaller. What am I? Dust. Try again, big guy. Everyone is pondering the answer. Mariah's face lights up. I got it. Is it hunger? Correct! Yeah, I was gonna guess that. So, what's on the menu tonight, chef? Bread and jam. You crush the berries in a small mortar and pestle, spreading it on some crusty bread. Yeah! You cooked raspberry jam and bread. The bread's a little tough. Gregor, don't look at a gift's... Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. But this homemade jam is to die for. Haha. Sorry. No, you're right, Gregor. This bread stinks. Mariah. Everybody laughs. You're not sure this could be called a meal, but it's got the job done. Everyone thanks you for dinner and your head's off to sleep. You go to bed wishing you had more. You had a strange dream. What the fuck?
Ooh.
I don't know what I did. Something is riding on your back, and it's becoming a nuisance. You try to see it in a mirror, but you can't get a good look at it. You try almost everything, but it won't get off. The pain between your shoulder blades is getting worse by the minute. You wander away from the cabin, stumbled by a river to soak your pain in cool water. You didn't want things to come to this, but you've exhausted all your other options. You swim out to the middle, rocks on the bottom, cut your feet, you slip and fall to your knees. You lean back trying to submerge this thing underneath the waters, but it won't drown. It won't drown. It won't drown. You splash frantically, plunging your head beneath the water. The current takes you downstream. You try swimming to the shore, but it's no use. Water fills your mouth and nostrils. After a minute, you stop struggling against the current. As you gaze up at the sky, you feel it leaving your back, drifting into the sky as you sink to the bottom. And as you take your last breath, gasp, you see what was on your back staring into your eyes. But you don't even have the air in your lungs to scream. You wake up in a cold sweat.
So day 3 of us being, like, complete day 3 of us being in the cabin, but day 4 that we're seeing, because they came to the cabin and you cooked dinner for them, and that was on day 0. So.
Sorry, you were making strange noises in your sleep. What's going on, Gregor? Did the lightning wake you up? It woke me up. Tried to fall back asleep, but it's so loud. Ugh. Let's just get back to sleep and talk about this in the morning. Everyone nods in agreement and goes back to bed. Except for you. You can't fall back asleep. You still have goosebumps from your nightmare. Karen's snoring is louder than a sawmill. You find it very loud and distracting. You don't sleep a wink. Everyone is now up and awake in the cabin. You hear the front door open and quickly slam shut. Anatoly sounds petrified. I looked out the door and we're completely surrounded by floodwaters. Looks like sailors take warning was more appropriate for today. Maybe it'll clear up tomorrow. You can't steal Big Guy's optimism, Karen. Why the hell not? That's all he was going for him. Ick. He's also good at chopping wood, though. Aha. Knock it off, you two. Mariah, do you think it will clear up tomorrow? I give it a 27% chance of clearing up tomorrow. Based on what? I was bored stiff, so I read a book on local precipitation levels for the last 20 years in the living room. Sounds like you're stealing Anatoly's thunder. Anatoly, you're a book nerd, right? Why didn't you read it? Ick. Couldn't make it past the cover. Is that right? Yes. That bookshelf has some great books on artisan, crafting, and natural sciences. Why let them sit there gathering dust? How did you arrive at 27% chance of it clearing up tomorrow? It's easy. Take the time of year, multiply it by a factor of... Mariah begins to explain meteorology to you. She isn't dumbing any of this down. It's similar to where... So the first thing you need is to understand. Minutes of explanations feel like hours. You look over at Anatoly. He's listening intently to Mariah. So intently he hasn't blinked yet. You can see his eyes drying up. A tear rolls down his cheek. This is brutal to watch. Mariah finally wraps up her lecture. She ends with a bow. Nobody claps. Tough crowd. Mariah, that was awe-inspiring. You lost me a few minutes in, but it's okay. I didn't understand a word of it. Haha. Anatoly turns to you. Anyway, there's no telling how long this will last. We can't leave the cabin until these floodwaters stop. I know our food situation is a little tight, but I know you'll make the right decisions.
What?
I believe in you. Me too. It looks like we have enough leftover berries for more bread and raspberry jam. I'll pass on the jam. Just give me more crusty bread. Everyone laughs. Except for you. With everyone stranded in the cabin, you need to keep everyone fed and happy. You sneak out to the kitchen while everyone's still talking.
You know, another thing. Crusty bread, make more jam. Blah, blah, blah. You know, another thing. Oh, we must have walked X amount of miles. Why? Why? Just sit and stay warm. Because, like, shivering, you burn so many calories shivering. It's not even funny. You burn calories walking, you know. Just sit there. Just sit there and sleep. Sit there and rest. Sit there and read a book. Just sit there. Go out. Don't walk around. Go to where you know there's berries. Pick the berries. You're not going to find anything anyway. Just take the safe bet. Save your calories. Pick the berries. Go inside and do nothing. Stop wasting your kcals. Stop it. You guys made every wrong decision. Makes me angry.
With the kitchen to yourself, you decide to check in on the Chompettes. Hi.
Hello!
Don't worry, as leader of the Chompettes, I'll make sure none of the humans know about us.
Onion!
That big guy would try. Definitely don't tell them about us. Are your plans going awry? Got another cornbread classic for you. Did you hear about the bread's maker bakery burning down? No? Her business is now toast. That one's been done to death. Do you know how raspberry and milk were introduced? You tell her no.
Raspberry!
Raspberry milk shake. Feel that audible groan. Did cornbread teach you that one? Nope. Wasted an entire day thinking about that terrible pun. It was well worth the time and money. Effort, Raspberry. Maybe you'll win the annual Chompette comedy competition this year.
Raspberry!
Of course.
Onion!
Not while I'm here. I won't choke on this stage. Is that every year bread? Whoops. We still talk about closing line, bread. You're going to do great this year. Anyways, don't even think of eating us while you're hungry. Chompettes stick together through thick and thin. Rain or shine. Feast and famine. Potato, I swear to God, repeat the line or we'll lock you up again. Life or death. That's right. Chompettes, move out! The Chompettes somehow managed to close the door on themselves. Oh shit, you bring the crusty bread and jam into the living room. Karen interrupts you as you bring in the food. Took you long enough. Karen looks at the 2 slices of bread left in the mason jar of raspberry jam. There's mold on these last 2 slices of bread. Karen is right. What the hell's the matter with you? You grip the knife tightly in your hand. You think this is enough for 5 of us? Well, wait. We can't throw this bread away. That's all we have left. Gregor's right. Anatoly, will mold spores give us food poisoning? I'm, no scientist, sorry. Let's pick off as much of the mold as we can. We can't leave with the floodwater, so we'll have to... so this will have to last us another day. Everyone grimly nods, ripping apart their pieces like a pack of wolf. Pack of wolf. Pack of wolf. Gregor seems to unhinge his jaws and eat it in one bite. He looks like a duck eating bread. Thanks again. Bread and jam isn't much of a meal, but it's more than what we had when we left for Ukraine. Plenty of rainwater outside, so at least we won't die of dehydration. But until the storm is over, nobody should leave the cabin. Should clear this up. Should clear up if we get it a chance.
Where are you getting that info from? One of the books on the shelf about the climate here. You're illiterate, so that's definitely a lie.
Teehee. I see it.
Did you get wet?
Yeah.
Okay, hang on.
I spilled my drink on myself. I request a towel, please.
We'll be right back. Alright, we're back. He's been studying up.
Whoops. Whoops.
He pretends to read those books because he wants us to think that he's smart, but I can tell he's just staring at the page, faking it.
Oof.
I mean, I don't want to accuse him of being illiterate. Even if it's true, that's really mean.
He must be going blind then. Thanks. I don't know why Karen would make something up like that. You aren't fooling anyone, Anatoly. Karen has stormed off. Thanks for backing me up. Your relationship is stronger. Good to have someone so positive around.
Anatoly looks relieved. You think he'll remember that? I guess let's call it a day.
Sure.
Karen likes to find someone's weakness and use it against them when she's frustrated. Just wanted to thank you for backing me up earlier. You're very sweet to do that. Anatoly looks at you with a look of admiration. Heh. See you tomorrow.
Oh, look.
So, Anatoly looks like he's blushing as he walks away.
Teehee.
So, you're definitely sure Anatoly will remember that. You know, Mariah said that thing about Ukraine, and this takes place during the, it was when Stalin had control over Russia and Ukraine. And it's called Holodomor. And basically what happened was they were under the Communist Party. And when it's communist, that means everybody gets a fair ration. Well, I would not say fair, but everybody gets a equal ration of everything, including food. So the government came in and took everybody's land. And if the food is not being produced, basically what happened is the government came in and they took farmers' land, and they had control over all the food. So in Ukraine, because Ukraine has been separate and then not separate and now hopefully it will remain separate with current events. But Ukraine was under Russian control at the time. And the Ukrainian people didn't want to give up their farmland. And they were not getting enough food with how much the government was rationing out. When it got really bad, all of these farmers would protest. And towns where protests were going on, the government would go in and take away the food rations. They took away all of the plants that they could possibly give, like, derive food from. They ransacked people's houses and took food away. It was bad. So it raises the question for me, at what point, we know that this is set during Holodomor. We know that that's when it's set. But at what point? Because they have the emergency supplies, which insinuates to me that it's possibly when they started to take the farmland away, because Mariah and Anatoly don't like meat, and they don't really eat meat, and they haven't. Karen and Gregor are allowing them to be dictated by the diet of two potentially vegetarians, which says to me that they're not as deep into that crisis and that event. I don't think that the government that they were under had ransacked the towns yet, or maybe they had started to ransack a couple, and these four fled to a different town before it got ransacked and by the government and their food stolen. Because they have emergency supplies. They have food. Like, they have scrounged up enough emergency supplies to get out of Ukraine. So I'm guessing that is about when it is. Is that it's the government took control over the farmlands and there was shortages, because she said it's more than we had in Ukraine, insinuating that they were starting to go through food shortages. And they were starting to go hungry. But they had enough food to put together emergency rations and get the heck out of Dodge, you know? So, it's irritating to me when, like, I make my own bread. I have wine brewing in a 5-gallon bucket in the kitchen right now. It's frustrating that I know how to make food last, and I see that they're not doing it. And in fact, you know, if what I think is correct, that they just met your character, the fact that they're trusting a complete stranger with food rations when they just escaped from Ukraine, where the government was stealing food out from people's pantries and not allowing them to have access to the farmlands, it's just wild to me. Like, we're preparing right now for the potential food shortage that's coming. And I have like 50 pounds of flour and 25 pounds of sugar and 2 pounds of yeast. And we made a massive amount of tamales this morning with my family, and my mom and my aunts want me to teach them how to can. Like, I know how to preserve food and stretch it, and the fact that they're not eager to stretch the food. I know it's a game. I understand. But the fact that they're not actively attempting to stretch the food out and preserve their own fat stores makes me a little frustrated. Especially when at least us in the US, might be having to go through something similar, especially with price increases. I have a little bit of a different take. Because we played this, like last week, the week before?
Mm-hmm.
And then the footage got corrupted. And prices have just gone up so much. I don't know. I have a little bit of a different take. Because the first time we played through, I felt really bad for everybody except Karen, because Karen's not very nice. But this time, I'm more mad and frustrated than anything else. You get ready for bed and put a blanket on. You go to bed very hungry. Day 4, but day 5 that we're seeing. Oh, shoot. I think the scroll does that. Hang on just a second. Alright, you don't dream the entire night, but you sleep through everyone waking up. And that's how fast a deer could run if startled. Whoa. Incredible. Impressive. Yawn. I wish we had a deer here. With the food getting lower, it's just... let's just skip today's meal. No. It's only for one day.
What did we skip over?
And I don't think we skipped over anything, because we woke up and they were chatting. You slept through everybody waking up. Various cultures and religions have practiced fasting throughout history. She does not look enthused. That doesn't make us feel any better, Anatoly. What options do we have? Our food wasn't rationed properly. Anatoly leaves, mumbling to himself. So passive-aggressive of him. Everyone goes to separate areas. Karen is in the room. Gregor is in the living room. Mariah is in the kitchen. And Anatoly in the bathroom. Who do you want to speak to?
Who do we want to talk to?
Oh.
Gregor? Anatoly? Karen? Anyone but Mariah.
Sorry. Last time we played, I know you guys did not see that, but last time we played, we talked to Mariah. And I would venture to guess that a lot of other people who are playing this online are also talking with Mariah. And then second most common is maybe Karen. Because they're the girls. Part of me wants to talk with Gregor.
Let's talk with Gregor.
Hey! Plenty of blankets around, but I never need one. I generate enough heat for the entire cabin. Most of these blankets are pretty thick. Are these out during the summer? Most of these blankets are pretty thick and heavy. One's mostly used for winter. Are they out during the summer? You shrug. To be honest, I'm feeling a little guilty about eating all that food the first couple of days. It should be over soon enough, right? You nod in agreement. Ah, great. Thanks again for everything.
Yay.
You leave Gregor to go mill around the cabin for a while. Everyone looks pretty down this evening. Wish the rain would just stop. You're all doing great. We must be almost to the end of this nightmare. I'm so hungry.
I'm sure you are.
Me too. You are too. You wish everyone a good night and get ready for bed. You go to bed with a growling stomach. You have a strange dream. A boy is yelling at you in the kitchen. You keep telling him to lie down on the tray. And he keeps shaking his head, calling you names. So you do it. You lie down on the tray and make your body flat as a board. You show him how it's done. His anger turns to courage, and he pushes you into the oven. As the stench of burning hair fills your lungs, you see him sneer back at you. You wake in a cold sweat. That's a creepy fucking face, man. I hate that. Everyone seems to be sleeping in later than normal. Good, conserving calories. Their stomachs must have kept them awake all night. The rain is still pouring outside. You can barely make out the trees from the window. You hear a stirring of blankets, arms, and legs. Mariah looks petrified.
Uh-huh.
I couldn't sleep. Anatoly has bags under his eyes. The storm is too loud. Karen looks out of it. Hi! The cabin was creaking so much last night. It sounded alive. Gregor looks a little gaunt. I got a good look out the window. And couldn't see anything due to the rain.
Ha 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 ha.
I was so hungry last night. I kept pacing around my bed. Karen turns to you. When is this going to end? I checked outside the door again. Floodwaters keep rising. Unfortunately, we're going to need to stay put unless one of us wants to drown in rainwater. As soon as the weather lets up, we'll be able to scavenge for supplies. How close is the nearest town? I don't know.
Thanks.
Didn't you have a map on you? I think I dropped it while we were running after Gregor.
Moron.
I'm sure it'll show up eventually. Ha 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 ha. Mariah and Anatoly go white as a sheet. How are we supposed to find our way back now? We'll have to ride out the storm. Mariah looks at you. We're down to our last slice of bread. I don't know how much longer I'm eating. 30 to 35 days, my dear. 30 to 45? That's how long. Of course, depends on your own personal fat stores, which is why you shouldn't have walked miles a couple days ago and eaten so much, but that's fine. It's whatever. It'll clear up in no time. Ha 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 ha. Oh, I'm sure it will, Gregor.
Idiot.
Maybe you're right.
No shit.
The group looks worried.
Uh-huh.
They all gravitate to an area. You tell Gregor's putting on a fake optimism, and Mariah is having trouble. Which one do you want to speak with today?
We
I
already talked
guess.
to Mariah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Hi.
Oh, hey. I know you already searched the kitchen, but I had to double check. A fool's errand. I wish everyone was in better spirits. It can't rain forever, right? Rainfall in this area can last days to weeks. You tell Gregor to stay strong. You know what? Thank you. The group is really thankful for your kindness. Gregor blushes a little bit. I always wanted to be the one that kept everyone in good spirits, but it's obvious you do that much better. Gregor is looking at you fondly. You're sure Gregor will remember that?
Yay. Best friends.
The rain is pounding hard against the wooden cabin, but at least none of it is getting inside. ... You tell Gregor to keep his spirits up and join the others. Call everyone together. They all look grim. You could cut the tension in the room with a knife.
Uh-huh. Whoops.
I think it's the
It's the
wheel.
The spin wheel.
Everyone is staring at you. They're expecting that last piece of bread for dinner. You bring it out. Everyone can't take their eyes off of it. You instruct everyone to take a pinch, and slowly all 5 of you tear it apart like a wishbone. Everyone studies their piece of bread, wondering how long it will last.
Ooh, one whole bite.
Karen is the first to eat hers. She chews each bite 100 times before swallowing. Anatoly chews it cautiously, opening his mouth once he finishes each bite.
Sorry.
Mariah nibbles on it silently, eyes wide, moving from person to person. And Gregor just pops it in his mouth like a cherry.
Nice.
It was gone in an instant. The group thanks you awkwardly. It's not much, but you've run out of options. You wish everyone good night and get ready for bed. You go to bed starving. Alright. We will continue this.
Eventually.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.